Mozzarella cheese is one of the most consumed cheeses worldwide. Its elastic texture and ability to melt evenly make it the most commonly used cheese for making pizzas. It is traditionally made with buffalo milk. But how is industrial mozzarella cheese made? We visited a cheese factory to discover how buffalo mozzarella cheese is made. Mozzarella cheese has its roots in Italy, believed to have originated in the Campania region, specifically in the city of Aversa, during the 7th century. Like all cheeses, the foundation of mozzarella is milk. Mozzarella cheese is made with buffalo milk. Buffalo milk is known to have a higher fat content than cow's milk, contributing to the creaminess and distinctive flavor of buffalo mozzarella. The collection of buffalo milk is the first crucial phase in mozzarella production. Specialized farms breed water buffaloes, the species commonly used to produce buffalo mozzarella. Buffaloes are properly cared for and fed to ensure the quality of the milk. The diet may vary, but generally, efforts are made to provide the animals with a balanced and nutritious diet. Buffaloes are milked to collect the milk, a process that can be done manually or with mechanical milking systems, ensuring that the process is hygienic and respects the well-being of the animals. The freshly milked milk is temporarily stored in refrigerated tanks on the farm. This helps preserve the freshness of the milk before it is transported to the cheese factory. As soon as the milk is obtained from the buffaloes, it is kept at a low temperature to preserve its freshness and quality. The use of refrigerated tanks during transport and storage is essential to prevent the proliferation of bacteria and ensure food safety. Before transporting the milk to the factory, quality analyses are conducted to ensure it meets the necessary standards. These analyses may include tests for composition, fat content, proteins, and other key parameters. Buffalo milk, after passing quality controls, is transported to the factory in refrigerated trucks to maintain appropriate temperatures and preserve its quality during the journey. It is crucial to keep the milk fresh and in hygienic conditions from collection to the factory to ensure the final quality of mozzarella cheese. This first step lays the foundation for a successful production process and high-quality cheese. Before entering the factory, the milk may undergo filtering and clarification processes to remove impurities and possible contaminants. This helps ensure the purity of the milk before starting the cheese production. In the factory, the milk is pumped and stored in special tanks that maintain a controlled temperature. These tanks are designed to preserve the milk in optimal conditions until it is needed for the cheese manufacturing process. For hygiene reasons, milk tanker trucks are washed both inside and outside. Once emptied, a tanker truck like this has the capacity to transport an average of 30,000 liters of milk, maintaining a constant temperature between 3 and 4 degrees Celsius. Raw milk intended for cheese making contains 3.8% fat and 3.3% proteins. Before starting pasteurization, detailed analyses are performed to assess the quality of the milk. These analyses may include tests for acidity, fat content, proteins, as well as the detection of possible contaminants. This step is crucial to ensure that the milk meets the necessary standards for the production of high-quality cheese. The milk and whey are stored in these enormous silos with a capacity of 225,000 liters. Then, a milk separator removes the excess cream to adjust the fat percentage. The manufacturing begins with this tank that feeds the pasteurizer. During this process, the goal is to eliminate harmful bacteria and other microorganisms that could affect the food safety of the cheese. Pasteurization is a thermal process that involves heating the milk to a specific temperature for a certain period and then rapidly cooling it. This step helps eliminate pathogens and reduce bacterial load without significantly compromising the organoleptic qualities of the milk. In the case of mozzarella cheese, the goal is to preserve the characteristic flavor of buffalo milk. After pasteurization, the milk is quickly cooled to stop the thermal process. This prevents undesired changes in the milk and preserves its quality. Next, we find a coagulation tank with a capacity of 95,000 liters, where milk and other essential ingredients for making mozzarella, such as rennet, the enzyme that coagulates the milk, are introduced. Lactic cultures are added to pasteurized milk. These cultures consist of beneficial bacteria that play a crucial role in fermentation. Lactic cultures consume the sugars present in the milk and produce lactic acid as a result. This process acidifies the milk, contributing to the characteristic flavor and texture formation of the cheese. At the same time as lactic cultures are added, rennet is incorporated into the milk. Rennet is an enzyme traditionally derived from the stomachs of young animals and plays a key role in milk coagulation. This coagulation is essential for forming curd, which is the solid base from which cheese is produced. After adding lactic cultures and rennet, the milk is left to rest. During this period, the curd begins to form as the proteins in the milk cluster and solidify. Once it has reached the appropriate consistency, the curd is cut into small pieces. This step allows the release of whey, which is the liquid part of the milk that is not incorporated into the curd. Cutting the curd is a fundamental step in shaping the cheese and determining its final texture. After cutting the curd, the process of whey release begins. The small curd pieces release whey, which is the liquid part of the milk that is not part of the curd. This process is crucial to remove excess liquid and concentrate proteins in the curd. After whey release, the curd undergoes a gradual heating process. This step contributes to the development of the characteristic elastic texture of mozzarella. Heating also helps consolidate and compact the curd. As the curd heats, it begins to become elastic. At this point, the cheesemaker stretches and kneads it repeatedly. This stretching and kneading process contributes to the formation of the mozzarella structure, resulting in its smooth and elastic texture. Depending on the producer's preference, mozzarella can be shaped into balls, blocks, or other desired forms. Once it has reached the desired texture, it is quickly cooled. Cooling stops the stretching and kneading process, fixing the cheese's structure and preserving its final shape. The mixture finally acquires the characteristic texture of mozzarella that we all know. Once the cooking is finished, the whey is pumped onto tables to drain it, preparing the solid part of the mixture. The resulting liquid is called whey. The whey is concentrated and transformed into other dairy products, such as whey protein. The cheese reaches the molds, where it will be given the proper shape. Each mold has a capacity of 2.5 kilogram. A brine solution is used to cool the cheese blocks and to salt them. An even distribution of salt on the cheese's surface is sought to ensure that all corners have the same level of flavor. The amount of salt can vary according to the producer's preference and the specific characteristics of the cheese. The molds are emptied into a brine tank and then travel on a conveyor belt to another tank, where they will soak for 4 to 10 hours at a temperature of 2 degrees Celsius. During this time, the cheese absorbs the salt, contributing to the final flavor and aiding in preservation by acting as an antimicrobial. Once the cheese has been salted, it undergoes a controlled cooling process. This step contributes to consolidating the cheese's structure, fixing the flavor and texture obtained during the earlier stages of the process. The 30,000 liters of milk that arrived in the truck have transformed and produced 100 cheese bars in a time frame of 8 to 12 hours. Subsequently, the cheese bars are vacuum sealed and ready for distribution. If you want to know how protein is made, you can find the link in the description and the first comment. Like the video if you enjoyed it and share it with someone who might be interested. Also, subscribe to this channel, activate notifications to keep learning. Greetings.